Hi guys, welcome to another video. In today's episode I'm going to show you how to construct your line. More specifically, what components you will need to take the maximum from fishing weedy lakes, reeds and underwater ruins. Stay tuned, this may improve your fishing significantly. If you are new in this channel, my name is Petko and my passion is catching carps. So all the content which you will find in this channel will be about that, catching carps. Today I'm going to show you how to build your line, connecting different parts, and the next time I'm going to show you how exactly to connect the different components. In other words, I will be talking about knots. If you don't want to miss this episode, you may need to consider subscribing. Let me start with the first situation, which is fishing weedy lakes. So when I'm fishing weedy lakes, I'm usually use three main components of my line. Let me start with the first one, which is nanofilament. This is the nano line. This is the first component which I'm using. Guys, there are different brands. This has different properties, so you will find many different types of monolines. So I'm not going to discuss the different brands, but what I'm going to discuss now is something else. Keep in mind that the monoline has a certain elasticity. This is very important, very nice property, which gives you actually freedom, especially when you fight with the fish. This flexibility is very important, but this may cause you problem when you fish in a very huge distance. Actually, the long range fishing will be topic for another discussion. However, just want to mention something important. If you fish in a huge distance, let's say about 500 meters, with this elasticity of the monoline, this decreases sensitivity dramatically. You will not be able to feel what happened on your line, especially if you fish in the winter and if you catch a small carp. Just keep this in mind. Afterwards, you will need to connect the monoline with the most important component in this fishing situation, to my opinion, and this is the bright. The bright is very important because this is the things that cuts vegetation. You need to take at least 20 meters of this on your line, because when you catch the fish, it will go directly into the weeds. And you need something that cuts vegetation very well. Otherwise, you will not be able to take out the fish from the weeds and you will lose it. And we came to the third component of your line, which, guys, is the lead core. As the name of this thing implies, it looks like that. Actually, here inside there is a lead which allows the line to sink easily. And this is very important because this hides your last 80 centimeters to 1 meter of your line, and the carp feels more confident because it cannot feel the danger, it cannot feel your line. But this is not the only advantage of using the lead core as a last third component. Keep in mind that the lead core can also protect your line from the dorsal fin of the carp, which, as you know very well, it can damage your line very easily. So guys, with those three components, if you connect them, as I will show you in the next video, you should be able to catch carps in the weedy lakes. Let's go further to the second fishing situation. Alright, the second situation is when you fish around reeds. In this case, guys, I'm using two components of my line. The first one is the monoline again. However, it's connected not with the braided line, which I'm using in the first situation, but in this case I'm using a shock leader. The shock leader is a mono material which is about 0.60, 0.70 millimeters. This is something that I'm using. It's very thick, usually has no memory, and also it's very reliable and does not allow the fish to wrap around the reeds. And this helps me to take it out much easier. I strongly recommend you to use shock leader when you fish reeds as a second component. And I don't need in this case the third component, the lead core. It does not improve my fishing. This is something that I found over the years, so that's why I just prefer to use two components and to connect the rig directly to the shock leader. This works very well in this case. Okay, we came to the last third situation in which we fish underwater ruins. In this case, guys, I'm using the same two components which I use when I'm fishing reeds. In other words, I'm using monoline connected with shock leader. However, in this particular case, I make a small modification which helps a lot. And this is to put a movable float on the line, on the shock leader. You see this inline connection. It has a hole, it goes directly through the shock leader. You need to put this on, let's say, 3 meters from the rig. Just, you need to take a stopper like this one. I hope you can see them well. So put this in 3 meters from the rig and then put this movable float. This will protect your line from rubbing in the stones, which is very, very important, and you will see the advantage of using this in such particular situations. So guys, this was all that I wanted to tell you in this video, so I hope you like it. See you next time, so I wish you all the best.